Finally.
Awesome. So, in this stream, what are we doing? What are we doing? Right, cool. Right, so this has been a back and forth between you and I, Jamie. It started off with Carlos, wasn't it? About doing a collab on this, and I just wanted to do something with GraphCMS because I haven't worked with it in an age, and the offer from Carlos was there, and I thought a good one for everyone to take a look at would be like creating a dynamic navigation menu from GraphCMS content. So I had an example from this, but it's from like two years ago. And I think it's going to be quicker if we just spin up a new project. So for everyone that's just tuning in, this is me installing all the things I need in Gatsby for Gatsby to do its thing. We're doing a sharing session. So can you access the package JSON, Jamie? Yeah. Okay, cool. Cool. Right.
So we've got some dependencies, right? So we can just add. Do you do dev or develop? Because I'm in the habit.
I'll do dev.
Yeah.
I'll do dev, and then
that's all we need. Fun.
Get a bit salty when I have to write develop because I'm everything is like an alias for me when I do stuff because I don't want to type too much.
Yeah,
right, cool.
I had this like bash alias for develop. So if I was using Gatsby, sometimes if I was installing a new project, it would be Gatsby develop, and they wouldn't use dev. So I just had this thing that would just fall back to try develop, which was fun. So
I need to do that actually.
It's quite funny. But yeah, I think since you last worked on this kind of concept of creating a page with dynamic nav was back when we had the legacy GraphCMS, and since then we've updated it. So this will be your first time, will it be, using the new GraphCMS?
I think it will be, yeah.
So we'll just get a basic scaffold set up for now, I think.
Yeah, it'd be nice if I could actually type.
For a page.
So, how do you do this? Because I've taken to doing it like this now in Gatsby, where I'm just going to, because you don't need a named export for a page, right?
Well, I think when you do use a name, it will help with the persistent state, I think. So if between the hot module reloading, I know certainly in next it shouts at you if you don't do that. So I'm going to assume it's the same in Gatsby, unless.
Okay, so actually we've got the hello world, haven't we? Right. You do it as a function.
Yeah, you could do default export function.
Okay. Cool. And then spin up the dev server.
Yeah, you have to add default, export default before function, and then.
Oh yeah.
That should work.
See if I could beat the CLI. Looks like I did. Cool. Right. Let's not bother looking at that. I was going to find the old project. Is this localhost 8000? Right.
Windows looks nice, by the way. I've not used Windows in a long time.
I've recently switched over just for streaming stuff. Basically, it's you can see on the stream the camera, the blurred background thing. It's a piece of software called XSplit VCam, and obviously Mac and Windows, but not Linux.
Yeah.
So I've been using that for Whiskey Wednesday. But yeah, it's come on a long way, and WSL2, Windows Subsystem Linux 2, which is what I'm using here, is super duper fast. Yeah, I am
brave at some point.
It's good. I'd recommend it. I've done a long post on it as well on my blog, and then also I've gone full screen there. There we go. Right, so
So we're up and running with the Gatsby project.
Yep.
So next, what we need to install is going to be Gatsby source GraphCMS.
GraphCMS, one word, yeah?
Yeah. So it's just Gatsby source GraphCMS, not a plugin. And,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
that should be all we need, I think. Wait there. So stop that.
Oh.
If you do that and then at next at the end, because it's not quite released yet.
Oh, I thought it was. I thought I'd seen it in the Gatsby documentation.
I think it's the old version, and we've rewritten it now, so it uses the new Gatsby tooling that's available. But that's not in production or released just yet, so we can't obviously release that until they do, just in case there is any kind of breaking changes or, way people kind of invoke it, changes. So inside of the config, obviously we just export the plugins and we add it as a plugin.
What is it? Export. How do we? Jesus, how do I Gatsby?
Module.exports in here. Obviously, we don't have access to using some of the fancy module. The export default in those modules. Yeah, it's just an object. So yeah, we'll just return an object inside of theirs. Plugins.
And then this is an array. And in here, we just want to put in what we've done in here.
Yeah, so we will need to make this an object as well. So inside of plugins,
config, right?
inside that array, inside of a new object, we'll use the key resolve. This is all from memory, and this will be Gatsby Gatsby source GraphCMS.
Right, and then does this have options
have
as well?
Options, yeah, so it'll have options.
An object.
Yeah, and endpoint is the value we need.
Okay.
We'll just put this in. We'll just put this in from GraphCMS when we get it in a sec. But before we continue, one thing we'll need to change is just this here, and that should work. I think my VS Code, my prettiers tidied that up automatically there.
Cool.
So Gatsby source GraphCMS. Yeah.
Sorry, let's go back. My bad. Sorry.
That's fine. Looks good. So yeah, we need to obviously populate that endpoint now. So if you head on over to graphcms.com and log in.
Have you seen this where if there's something goes wrong with your dev server, then you just say okay. But if you miss that and then you kill your dev server, then it locks up that port.
I've probably done that a dozen times.
Yeah. Log in.
Log in, yeah.
Oh, I'm logged in. There we go. So I want to do a new project from scratch.
Yeah.
And Europe. Okay. Oh. I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty much that. All right. Boop. And invite later. I don't need to invite you, do I, Jamie?
Nah, don't worry.
Right. Oh, it said error. Okay, cool. Yeah. So create my first. Right. So this is where we have to start thinking about the content.
Yeah.
So it should be just base it off of something simple, which has got. Do you have something in mind?
Well, I was thinking what we could do is we could create a model for pages, and pages will have a title and a slug.
Okay.
And then we'll create this is where obviously you will be able to correct me, but maybe we have a navigation model which has title and slug also, and then we could generate, I'm guessing with Gatsby, we'll just generate programmatically all of the pages, and then for each of those pages, we just show the same nav. Like that would be a good first step, and then we could maybe have a look to see how we could advance that.
All right.
Does that sound okay?
It does, yeah.
So we'll make a model. We'll call this page.
Do we do casing and stuff in GraphCMS?
Yeah, just capital P, and then for the.
We don't have pages, so we don't pluralize stuff, do we?
When you're querying for multiple, you do, so it'll have the plural app ID. That's automatically generated, so that's fine.
Oh, okay, cool.
As is, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay.
And then we'll now add some fields. So I'm guessing the first one will be single line text.
What's this going to be? Page name?
Just call it title. It'll just be. It's already a page, so we can just give it a field of title. If you click this use as title field, it doesn't really make much sense when we're querying the data, but when you're using the UI, it's really nice because if you go to relate things, then that kind of stands out when you're linking relations and stuff. So
would this come in handy when, say, I'm not sure how sort of in depth we're going to go with this, but say if you want to group a page in like a navigation category, would that be coming handy for that?
It would from a content editing point of view. So if you were coming into the system, that would obviously be helpful to kind of see. But when you're querying, no, I don't think that would help too much.
Yeah.
So if you switch over to the validations tab inside that modal,
okay.
It's often missed. Maybe we could add a button that's kind of like next or something, so you see those. But we'll make the field reported.
Yeah. And say it is unique as well. If you're going to be,
we'll create a field for slug next, I think, and we'll use that as unique, and we'll just create that.
Well, sorry, I should have checked the advanced as well. What was in the advanced there?
I think it's the only option in there at the moment is to hide it when you're creating stuff. So that's not
okay.
We don't really need that in this case. So the next field, go on.
I was going to drag and drop, but you just click on it now. I think that's what I did earlier. It used to be drag and drop, right?
It used to be drag and drop, yeah.
Yeah.
We should maybe add that functionality back in. So
it's fine. I appreciate just clicking on it and then having the field open. So slug.
Muscle, like I still do to this day. So we will move over to validations, and we'll make it required. We'll set it as unique, and then if we match a specific pattern, and we click from the drop down slug.
Oh, brilliant!
This is basically just a bit of regex that'll pre-populate. So when you're editing the content, it'll say, okay, this thing can't have spaces, and it will accept numbers and alpha content with no spaces. So and accept hyphens. So it's pretty cool. And obviously you can customize that. So if somebody's got their own use case, they can do that as well.
So what are the exceptions on there? Because we're putting in a customer error message here. Mm-hmm. What would trigger a customer an error message? Because I'm presuming if you just generate any field, it's going to slugify it for you, right?
No. So we will be kind of introducing that functionality soon, where you can say, okay, generate a slug based off this field or that field. But at the moment, you've got to kind of conform to the restrictions, and obviously this is the restriction we're generating. So on the flags, if you change it to case insensitive and single line as well, and then inside of custom error message, you could just say not a valid slug or something. I don't think this is a required error. I would imagine it would just say invalid field. That's going to be. If it's failing validation, it's going to tell you one way or another whether it's custom or not.
Yeah.
And create that, I think.
Let's take a look here. Oh, it's just high field. Like you said, Jamie.
Yeah.
I think this is always the bit when I've had to, when I've recorded videos of me doing this in the past, putting the content in, like getting this bit set up, people could just be like watching this, like, oh my god, this is so dry.
Yeah,
so
that's why we've got some templates now. So when you obviously we're starting from scratch, so people watching are gonna have to enjoy the pain. But if you're doing it in the future, we've got a couple of templates in there, so you can I want to start a swag store, e-commerce example, or a blog or whatever else, and you can just get building with content straight away.
Brilliant. Straight off the playbook, that.
Yeah.
Off the pitch book.
So we could do the same for navigation. So create a new model. We'll not bore people much longer with creating.
So this is in the schema, and hang on, where? In here, right?
Model. Yeah, on the left, in the left-hand bar there, you've got add to the right models.
Sorry, this is navigation.
Yeah. It could be anything, menu, however. So yeah, preview URLs is cool. You've probably not seen this before. We should have maybe set this up on pages, but it doesn't matter. What this allows you to do is kind of set different environments for previews. So when you're editing content, a button will appear, and it'll say view in localhost, view in staging, view in production, and then you can use, if we were on the pages model, we could use a slug to generate the URL. So maybe we can add that later. That's fine, but you can go ahead and create that model.
Okay, that is really good. That's is that from feedback, customer feedback?
I think so, yeah. And I think obviously there's a lot of
there's a lot
of things when you're editing content. A lot of things kind of help, and I think it's little things like that really do go a long way and make the experience just nicer for people editing content. So I think what we'll do here is, if you want to create maybe it's the exact same fields, title and slug, and set everything up we did with page, and it'll make more sense in a minute once we've done that.
We need to have a title field. We didn't do anything with the
it was just
make it required. And what was it? Title and slug, yeah. Settings, unique, mesh pursuit pan, slug, case insensitive, single line. Did we restrict? We didn't do that, did we?
No.
Oh, very slow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So I think next what we'll just do is add a basic page.
Index, homepage.
Yeah. Whichever you like. Slug can just be home or index. Or
but hang on.
Whatever.
Yeah, so does go that. Save and publish, yeah?
Yeah, we can save and publish that. If you click the little icon on the right as well, maybe next time we create content, you can go like create, publish, and create another or something, and then you kind of don't have to go back and click.
Yeah. So is that what I've got to do now? I've got to go back to here and then say create. All right, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So if we like about page or something. Yeah.
There you go. Okay. And then we'll do contact.
Yeah. So if we do, let's just save that for now. And maybe we could start building these pages in Gatsby before we move into navigation. I think anyone watching would be thinking, why would we create more content entries for navigation when you've kind of got the page title already? Couldn't you just query all of the pages and show those in the navigation? You could, but what navigation would allow us to do is like self-reference items as well. So in the future, you could have drop-down items and nested items and things, and kind of group things a lot better. And really, like if I say, for example, I've got 100 pages on my website, I don't want 100 things in the nav. So this way, I can kind of create a bespoke navigation. We do see people using booleans to like specify whether to include this in a nav. So then you could query all pages where is in nav is true or something, and that would work. But then it gets a little bit confusing when you've got kind of nested pages. So navigation really just helps us kind of be really explicit in creating the navigation. So we could go either way. Like we could just do it with pages for now, and then we could introduce navigation. Depends how far you want to go.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's just get the pages. So are we going to look at the where's the GraphQL model now? Is this it? The API playground. Is this what we've got now for?
Yeah.
Yay! Is it still in the same place? The pages. Okay, cool. What's the name? We call it a title, is it? Title and slug. So this is going to form the query we're going to use in Gatsby, right?
That's right, yeah. But before that, we need to finish configuring Gatsby. So if you head to the settings, we'll be able to get the
so we need
the endpoint.
Cool. API access. Just this? Or
yes.
do we need to have it as a...
Just click the URL. It'll copy that to your clipboard and then paste that.
Do we not need to set?
Yeah. So above where you've got public.
Okay. Prior to this, you had to set. Sorry, carry on.
In the old version, yes, it was just the same. I think you had to kind of specify whether the queries required an access token or not. Obviously, with the new version, we've got kind of different stages for content. So you can put content in draft, publish, QA. You can create all these different custom stages yourself. And basically what we want to do here is just say, check the one for we can query content that is published, and then we can save that. And then it means that endpoint can be accessed by Gatsby without any need for API keys. I don't think what we're creating here is, it's not any secrets, So we can just make the data public.
Okay. Cool. So that's where the endpoint's going. So if I spin up Gatsby, if I've got to kill this dev server and spin it up again, yarn develop, and then I should be able to see the data in localhost. What is it? GraphQL?
Graphical, I think. I don't know, or maybe it's GraphQL. Yeah.
Yeah, it's GraphQL. I've been tripped up by it a few times actually. So
is it triple underscore
double? So can we do all GraphCMS page? Right. Title slug. Oh, should I have done it in nodes? Edges. Do nodes now. That's a tip I got from Johnny. I'm not showing anything.
If you go back to GraphCMS, if you switch back to that tab, and click that box, content from
which one? Sorry,
published. The second checkbox down under queries. Content from stage published. Yeah. Yeah, and then click save, and then we should be flying.
So I'm going to need to kick the dev server off again. Yay, right, okay, cool. So
sweet.
we're going to dynamically generate these in Gatsby node now.
Yeah, I've created a file called Gatsby node. Already. I was just seeing if the live share was working properly.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes, very well actually.
So this will be export stop.
So what we're doing,
pages.
same as again. This is just
We'll make
function,
async.
or is it like a
async function as well?
let's go.
Just before the parentheses, yeah, and then we'll destructure GraphQL and actions, I think.
All lowercase.
Yeah.
Cool. So do we? Oh man, I've got to get a reference out for this now.
So I think if we did, let's just fix that arrow function. I think what we'll need to do is destructure create page from actions, and then it's going to be a case of
From actions. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a case of something like const data, something like this, I think. And then whatever that query would be, it was like GraphCMS, not products, it was pages. It's going to be something like this that we need to do. We'll need to like await the GraphQL query, and then so I'm just trying to play this out in my head how this runs again.
Yeah.
Data. What did the query look like?
So yeah, sure. Where has it gone? Here it is. Just this, yeah.
Yeah. And then that would go. Whoops.
Oop. Is there too many? Oh, it needs to be in backticks, doesn't it?
1 sec. It's like, I think it's a wait GraphQL, and then that goes in there, and then I think we destructure.
Right, that's it.
That, yeah, and that's going to have nodes in it, and whatever that response look like.
So are we just going to console log this just to make sure we've got it working?
Yeah, let's console log all GraphCMS page and see if that's pulling the pages through. Oh, look at this. Fancy separator bars.
Yes, it's just so you can identify where it is in the terminal quickly. There we go. Right, cool.
Hey, it's there. Cool.
So you got our ID. Do we need we need the slug, I guess. Do we need the title? It doesn't matter really, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at this point for the title. And then
okay, so what is our so we'll do check data. Oh no, the all GraphCMS page. We're just going to do a for
each, yeah, on the
for each
nodes. On the nodes, yeah.
On
all GraphCMS page dot nodes dot for each.
and we want page, and then I want to see what we're getting for this, I guess. So for each page, we want a template, don't we?
Yeah, so I think for each
to put the data into.
Yeah, for each of these, I'll just add nodes in there because that's in the response. It's in the, I've just added nodes down here, by the way. I'll remove title as well, just so it's.
Yep, nice. Yeah.
I don't know if I don't even think we need ID at this point, right? I suppose. No, I don't think we. I don't think we
It's
do.
just as another. Okay. And then what's the other one? Do we use create node? The create nodes API
Yeah, we can
to
just
have
use
the actual slug.
Yeah, we could just use create page in here. Which file are you in? Sorry, you are in.
I'm looking at create pages in Gatsby node again.
Okay, cool. So I think we just need to do create page, and then we've got the path, which is going to be whatever, and then we need the component, which will be that template.
Yep.
And then we need the context.
Context.
We could pass down the ID or the slug. They're both
the
unique.
slug. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll try that. I've not done that with the slug before. I've always just used the ID. So let's see what happens.
Cool.
And then
so
the component you've created that file already, right?
No, I've literally just got an empty file here for the template. So do we want path?
What we can do is we can actually use require itself, so we can do require.resolve. It's a nice way. So like when you just when you do like require a file and just import it there, you can exactly where it is in the file. You can do this with Gatsby as well, which is quite nice. So it's gonna.
Cool. Okay, so
that'll be. Where did you create that? Source.
Templates.
Page.
Template.js.
Sweet. And then the path. This will be the slug. Obviously, we've got index as a slug, right? So it's going to create like /index. I don't think that'll resolve to be in the index though. So we're going to have to check, I think.
Yeah.
See whether that is. So let's just destructure here.
Yeah, it wasn't the best name to give it, was it? Actually.
We're just using it. It doesn't matter. I think what we need to do is just do like is slug equal to index, and if it is, we just do this. Otherwise, it's slug. That would work, right?
Yep.
I think that would work. It's kind of the way that I've done it in the past.
Do we have to have that slash on there?
I can't remember. I always do. I don't remember the rules, the Gatsby rules, but I think I've always done it that way. We can see what happens without.
Yeah, I've always followed the same thing for the templates as well, but I don't think you need to. I've seen people do stuff like outside of that, and I'm like, oh, Maverick.
Yeah.
What are they doing? So we're going to follow with this page template because I'll just give these like anonymous names again, but I don't think this is the right way to do it. So we're going to get the data from Gatsby, and we want to return something, but we need to make the query for that data which is coming out. Excuse me, I've got some water. Okay.
Yeah, we could just return data at this point to see whether that's coming through or not.
Really? Okay, cool. What's that going to do?
Right. Where are we? Page template. I don't know what that's going to look like on the page, by the way.
No, but so what are we looking for an error just to see if it hasn't errored? So has it worked? Because I'm like just returning the data.
Did we save Gatsby? No.
See what's on it?
Yeah, I don't know where this data is going to go. It may go to the console.
Yes.
Because it's not returning a GraphQL. We could do this.
Yeah.
This is I don't know if you created something or I've seen somebody create something like
JSON
this.
stringify.
Yeah, and we could just see what it
The
looks
dump,
like on the page.
the Wes Bos dump.
Yeah. I think I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah. Use it all the so it's just a good visual representation of what's going on. It's great.
Totally. Yeah.
So okay. Right. So right. I'm not sure if anyone knows this, but you can do 404 JS, and it shows you available pages. Nice, So we've got them here that are about and contact. And then, do you have anything in the terminal? Undefined. That's right there because
that makes sense. Yeah.
We're not querying. Yeah, because we're not querying anything, are we? So we need to make the. Do you need to export it?
It's just a console export, isn't it? Page query.
Well, and then.
And you might know this. Does it have to be called page query, or can it be called query or anything? Is it just any exported?
Yeah, I think this will show up in the in the Gatsby schema. I think so. I think that this is then reserved in the Gatsby data schema because it builds it each time you sort of run dev, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. So for anyone watching, when you do Gatsby build, it brings in all of the external data and everything from the pages and the templates. So this query we're going to write here is what goes into this page as data. But this isn't actually part of the runtime, is it? This gets ripped out when it gets built, when you run Gatsby dev or Gatsby build, and then that's what's used in the GraphQL data layer for accessing the data. I think I've specific on some places. I've said this is template data, but I'm pretty sure you can just. I'm not sure about uppercase, but we'll see what happens. So we need to make a page query. So that is just GraphCMS page. This here. So let's get rid of this.
It'll be a single query, yeah. So GraphCMS page.
Yes. And then in here we're going to need to have.
That would be on the query. So the query would be GraphCMS page, and then it would be slug, and then it would be $$slug. If that makes sense.
Yep. There's the variable. We need to put it here, don't we? There's query, page query, like this, I guess.
Yes, and then
in here, that's where we just declare the variable.
Yeah.
Just
slug, and that would be a string.
Slig.
Slig,
yeah. And then we can use that in here, right?
Yes. So GraphCMS page. Yeah, we can add a slug in there in the query variables, and then
right in here. Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, and that would be slug, and then we just use
Yes.
that slug, and that would be if you put colon and then open it up again, and curly braces
Equals. Okay. Yeah.
equals and then the slug variable.
So not need to be in curly braces again. And then it's dollar slug, like that.
Yeah, I think it's just be equals dollar slug. Yeah. Your screen's a bit blurry on my side, so I can't see it properly.
Ah, sorry.
It's fine on the stream though, so I've got it open on another window.
Cool.
But there's a little bit of a delay.
So we should be able to get the title. Yeah, I was doing this the other day with Brad Garupi, and it was the same. You'd see me like reacting about 10 seconds later to something which had happened, which I'm sort of picking up on the headphones as well. I'm sort of doing stuff. That's what you need to do. So this is all we've got at the moment, isn't it? Title.
Yeah, I think that's all we need, right? We've only got the title and the model.
So about. So I'm trying to. Oh, here it is. Look, about right. Okay, so I can just put this in here and then run this. It should just give us that data there. Whew, right.
And that returned the data.
So
blurry for
copy
me.
pasta time. So over on the right here, we've just got the GraphCMS data, but at the moment that's just about, because that's all we're getting from here. And then that's going to go in here.
Yeah.
So now, we should be able to run the dev server again. Okay. Yay. There we go.
No, nice.
Right. So now we are generating our pages.
Yeah.
HTML 404. Yes. Now we've got data on both about and contact.
Well, yeah.
And the home page is now
/ cool.
Hello world, but this is
that's using.
So does this get overridden because of what we did in the Gatsby node here?
Yeah, the create pages happens before the create pages, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like it exists. Let's leave it. Or it's the other way around. It's like you've run a query for something that already exists. We can't override it. So
that's bad content creation on my part rather than Gatsby. Right. So let's go back to I don't need to open our content model for the navigation.
Yeah.
So we don't have any.
Yeah. So this is potentially an implementation question of how you do this and what's the best way. Obviously, everybody's going to have their own preferred way. Obviously, before when we were discussing whether or not to use a generic query for all of our pages and get the titles and slugs, or do we have a separate model to generate? It's entirely up to us. Obviously I'm conscious of time as well. I'm eager to.
I've just checked. We've got half an hour.
I'm eager to explore just using our pages to create a nav, but also adding another field to the model to be like include in nav or something, like is nav item or whatever. And what I think that would do is allow us inside of our page template is to also query for all pages. So if you open up VS Code again, I think, I can't remember how this is formatted, but we should be able to do like all GraphCMS page, and then we could do nodes, and then we could do title and slug. And then
in this query here.
Yeah. Sorry, inside of page template .js.
Yep. Oh, hang
So
on a sec.
I've just written this now.
You've put this in. I was like,
Yeah,
what
so
is
I'm
this?
thinking this is this is
Okay.
potentially one way we could do it. We'd have to use graphical just to double check on whether or not the right way to implement this, but we could do I don't know if it's where or filter, I can't remember, and then we just do something like is nav, or is in nav, which is a boolean, and then it's that. So then in the CMS we can say, okay, include the contact page in the header, but not the about. If that makes sense. So we're just simplifying
Yep.
our data model here by not creating more duplicate content entries. We're just going to kind of modify our page model. So maybe why don't we try and inside of GraphCMS just adding that boolean and see what happens, and we'll see what happens
On the navigation, you have. Is there a Boolean type? Here is. Do you want to have it as that's the display name?
I mean, you could call it whatever you
Stores list
want.
of values.
Make it a bit more friendly if you want. Show in nav. Show in nav. Show in nav is probably a bit more
Do
English.
we? Right, there we go. But then we have this as is in nav. And
I mean, it could be show in nav. It could be whatever. That's it. We could just leave that as is. The default value will be. We can set the default values on those.
So we know. Don't we need? But what is the default?
It'll be null. It'll be null. So if you click but if you had clicked make field required, it would have said you have entries. What do you want to do? And then you could just say. So I think if you edit model, it might do it now. I don't know. But if you click validations and go to set as required, is it going to allow us to set a default value?
Mark, make field required, yeah? Okay, update.
Yeah, it may just set it to true, I don't know.
Just set
you're in the navigation model, that's why.
Okay.
You're in the navigation model. We need to add this to the page model.
Whoops.
That's why it wasn't asking us.
Boolean. There you go. That's cool. So just have default to false for now, and then we just have. Right. So in our SB, we want to query this. Just validate this.
So
let's just do the whole thing again.
We're going to run into something here that I have not explored just yet. What we'll probably need to do is restart the server and not save that file so it doesn't cry. But also,
oops, this, yeah. So can you do that? No, you can't.
I don't know.
Right, let's just save it and then run the dev server again. It doesn't appear to have.
We may run into an issue here that we can't query is in nav, and we can explore why that is in a sec.
Should we do that in graphical?
Yeah, let's have a look.
Now? Do I need to refresh this? Because it's not showing. There we Can I query field or GraphCMS on type? Did you mean?
Oh, yeah, capital C.
GraphCMS page.
Capital C.
It's not.
Yeah.
and it's not. You're right. It's filter. It's in Nav. I'm giving it as an option in here.
Yep. So this is what I thought we'd run into. And this, if we go back to the code editor, we have a look at VS Code. You may not have seen it. You may have not seen it. But if you open up the File Explorer, you'll see a Fragments folder. And if you open up page.graphql,
In
GraphCMS fragments on the left.
Oh, sorry. Right.
Yeah, and then open up.
Is this just being auto-generated?
Yeah. So this was generated with the source plugin. Now, when you've obviously used you've used Gatsby source GraphQL before, and really you don't get access to the lower level nodes with Gatsby when you use the GraphQL source plugin, in the sense of you can't kind of overwrite or kind of customize nodes that come in. You're just kind of bound to what it gives you. So with the new tooling that Gatsby have, you're able to really define the types a lot more and overwrite them better. And those fragments can be used throughout your application a lot better. So if you are querying for page, you can spread in page on queries and they're accessible. You don't have to kind of define them anymore. Obviously, this becomes a problem if you're editing remote schemas like we are here and you're pulling down. This isn't going to it's not going to overwrite it. And I've not looked into this myself why, but I would imagine it's because you may want to customize the schema. So the schema is different when you're working with it in Gatsby. So I think what we'll need to do here is two options. One is we delete the folder, which I don't think we should do. And the other option is just to add in the other bit that we need. So that's going to be whatever we added in GraphCMS, which is in Nav, I think. So you can just add that into the page fragment, and then it should be available. That's then going to know that that field exists. We may have to restart as well. I don't know.
I'm going to guess yes. So save that.
And I probably butchered that explanation of what GraphCMS fragments are. I've not used them. I've not used them on the new stuff.
So a fragment's just like a reusable bit of. Well, it's like a mixin, but for data.
yeah. I mean, they are a bit more powerful when you use them in larger query sets.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, you can compose queries a lot more, and it's really nice when you're passing them around to be able to reference types just by using kind of a keyword almost. But there are other benefits to it as well.
So I forget what it's called. Gatsby source GraphCMS uses this in conjunction with what's on the API endpoint to bring back the data. Is that?
Yeah, it fetches the remote schema and then builds a local schema. So if you think back to when you've used Gatsby source GraphQL, whenever you're making a query like this, it transforms automatically, or infers is the word. It infers field names from the response to be, Gatsby fields and Gatsby nodes. But we can actually control the middle step a lot more than we could before. We can define what the schema looks like and do that map in there. So
we have it as like a key, or is it like equals on this?
I'm not sure. It's a Boolean. So what is it? We could open up the docs, or we could use the Explorer. We may have to refresh the page to pick it up. True.
This one?
Page filter input, the last one I think it is. Yeah.
What does that mean? Oh, equals.
Equal, yeah.
What? Hang on. It's nav. Oh, God, equal. EQ.
Yeah, inside a curly
Yeah. EQ, sorry.
and then true.
Wow. That was painful to watch, I'm sure.
That's A-star content.
Right.
Thanks for the
Right.
subscriptions.
Yeah.
Please donate.
Right.
Sweet.
I don't think I need to change what you put in the
I think I still had where,
template.
and I still had where. So you could just overwrite that with yours, yeah. So what we're doing here is obviously on every page that's generated, we are querying. We're making another query to Gatsby to say, get me all of the pages that have filter, that that pages that are kind of is in nav is true.
Cool.
And then we're exporting the data already, so we should see that come through.
So we should see that information in this. Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
And go back to localhost here. And then I guess we're going to need to go to the about page.
Yeah. Nice. No nodes. Okay.
About. Did we not need to drill into that a bit more?
No.
Oh no, it's empty here as well.
Yeah. Okay. If you go into GraphCMS and if you go to the content editor and go to page. Yeah, they're all false here.
Yeah, so I need
so if you just edit one of those, make it.
but not home. Should I just rename this actually home?
No, it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, does it? So let's just say we want the about page in the nav, and then save and publish that.
I said create another. Don't know.
Yeah. We could show the contact page as well, yeah, and then save and publish. Yeah. So the difference here, obviously you've come from the previous GraphCMS where it was just like save and query. You're good to go. We've now got a step in the middle where it's like you can save content, but it's not immediately available. You can choose to publish that data, which is
so.
Nice.
When you just do save, if you've got, can you specify an environment for that, or is that saved to where I'm working
it's
at the moment?
that is the draft stage. That's the default stage for any content, and that's what we use.
Right, so let's kick off this dev server again. And we should be seeing what should we be seeing in here now? Just that Boolean?
No, we should see a list of the pages as well, yeah. I think it's reloading.
Hey, right.
Nice. Right, so I think in the few minutes we've got left, what we could do is add an H1 to the page, and then above the H1, we could just add an unordered list for our all GraphCMS pages, and then use Gatsby link to link between them. I think that would work, right?
Well, yeah, sure. Let's do that.
And then in a follow-up stream, we can create subnav items.
Yes, that would be super.
And we can relate pages. We could use GraphQL union types, and we could explore. All that stuff.
I can just do data.title here while we're getting.
GraphCMS page.title. I think that would have to be. That was in the response, if I remember.
Should I just destructure it then, rather than? That's all we want, isn't it? It's the title.
Just the title, from data dot GraphCMS page.
It's like H1. H. So that should have just.
Because it's you've done data.all GraphCMS page. It should just be GraphCMS page. That's why. We just want the H1
Oh, this one.
for the current type, for the current page.
Right. Okay. So what were you saying? Just to Gatsby link for the index page, just to list out what we got, or
Yeah, I'll delete the, unless you want to delete it. Delete the index page from the pages folder. Yeah.
delete it.
Yeah.
Wow, that was loud. Why are we deleting this?
Because we're generating that automatically now from GraphCMS.
Right.
We're creating that root page, so we should be flying now. No, we're not.
No. I've never done it. I thought the pages directory with an index was like the be all and end all. I thought you had to just compile file. I'll be quiet.
Yeah, no, you can create those programmatically. I think it's just because we didn't restart the server.
Hey.
Nice.
Awesome. Right. Okay. So
let's just create a list of links so we can click on about and contact and go between
them. In here.
Yep.
And then I'd be mapping over this.
Yes. Dot nodes.
Right. And then it's going to be a link to p dot. We call it p dot slug. Yep. And then p file. I don't know what's going on with this. So generating the.
Oh, it's because it's not returned. So if you get rid of the, you could do
that. I could just put it into parentheses here rather than.
Yeah, that would work. Obviously, we'd need to do that. That should work.
And import link as well. What was it you just corrected there? I didn't.
That was, you didn't have curly braces around p dot title.
Okay. So just be.
Yeah, and then finally this would be data.all GraphCMS page. There we go.
Yeah, beautiful.
So this is the next thing. So we need that slash at the beginning. So it's an absolute URL. Otherwise, it's just being relative to the path it's at. So that would be
in here.
In here, yeah. Just have to use template literals, I guess, and add a slash at the beginning.
That's totally wrong place there, Scott.
The backtick's on the other side of the thing, isn't it? There we go. I think it just removed it by mistake, the curly brace. So yeah, cool.
Bang.
We've got a nav now, which is coming from the CMS based on the page we're on, and we have a boolean in there to specify whether we want this page as part of
To
the
be
nav.
shown. Yeah.
You could have 100 pages, you could have 200 pages, but you might only want 5 or 6 in the nav item. So this is one way you could do it.
Right. So let's just quickly put this contact to false, save and publish. And then that should be finished from, once our dev servers run.
Yeah. Now, the thing that I like about Next.js is you don't have to, and Gatsby does this as well, by the way, but Next.js is it's kind of just built in. But when that data source changes, it'll automatically just remove it from the page, which is nice. With Gatsby, there is a flag you can use in this when you run the server to say always fetch data every time, which is also handy. But
in the dev server,
yeah,
that's interesting.
I'm pretty certain there's a special flag. It's to always fetch data, not cache it or whatever. Can't remember. Jonathan will know more because he's used it a few times.
Oh, awesome. So yeah, we are 4 minutes to go. Even though we started 10 minutes late, but that's my fault for being terrible at getting set up for this.
That's good. Thanks for having me. And
thanks for going through that. That was really interesting, and it doesn't look like a lot, but that is really handy for content editors and stuff like that, I think. And I think you said if you want to do it in a follow-up stream, you could add sub items to it as well, which I think would be really good. And that was with union types, you say?
Yeah, one option is just to use regular old GraphQL relations, and then an advanced bit would be to use GraphQL union types, and then you could specify whether this is when we could have that separate model for navigation, and you could have nav item, or you could have drop down nav item, or sub nav item, and based on the GraphQL type that it is, you can put it in the right place, and that's another benefit of GraphQL union types.
Awesome. So is there any concepts of a relationship in GraphCMS now?
Yeah. At the bottom, if you scroll down.
Yeah, reference. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So these work a little bit different. Well, they work the same way as they always have done, but you now have the option to do this GraphQL union type. So if you click on relation there, reference, and you just don't have to give it a name, but where you've got here, you could select page.
Yeah.
And then the option above is to allow multiple models to be referenced. And then you could select the pages you want in there. So you could say, this field could be, I don't know.
All right. So we could
children.
Yeah. So this is where you're talking about making a navigation model as well, and you could pick. Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, thanks for doing that, and I hope out of just absolutely no one's come by in chat. So thanks for anyone who was watching and didn't say hi in chat. And yeah, thank you very much, Jamie. And I'll be looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, can't wait. Have a nice day, man.
Yeah, you too.
Cheers, man.